Welcome to this very special interview with India's singular icon, the man who celebrates his 20th birthday in international cricket, India's favorite passion, romance, myth, cult, and perhaps the only person who I can justifiably say unites the country from north to south, east and west. Yes, welcome to this interview with Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin, thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
First question, 1989, 20 years, 20 long years. You started out as a prodigy, somebody who's come to take the cricket world by storm. You continue to rule the cricket world. How is that possible?
I don't know whether I continue to rule the cricket world or not, but I continue to enjoy the game. That's more important for me. I think the day I held a cricket bat, it was because of sheer passion for the game and love for the game, and it's still there in me today, and I'm proud of the fact that I've been given an opportunity to serve the country for 20 years, and 20 years is a long time. I'm the lucky one.
You mentioned the fact that serve the country. Those are the words, that sort of got me attracted to you. You carved out our national imaginary. When you came, we had Kashmir, we had Sri Perumbudur, we had Babri Masjid. Suddenly the very foundations of our democracy were shaken, and there was this one man who could get north, south, east, west together. Talk about that tricolour on your helmet and that coffin and what it means to wear the tricolour.
It's hard to express what it means. I mean, I think when you hear a national anthem or have a tricolour on your helmet, it's a terrific feeling. I get goosebumps whenever we say the national anthem in the middle, or in the middle of the field, or wherever. The moment the national anthem is played, the feeling is different. And the same feeling when you have a tricolour flag on my helmet, because I'm proud to be Indian, and I want the whole world to know that I'm Indian.
That very line of that advert, my name is Sachin Tendulkar and I play for India, I think is the line that has shaped our conscience for a long, long time. Talk a bit about the pressure. I mean, 1 billion plus hope to, every day you would do a miracle for them. How do you cope with that? Deconstruct that part of Sachin Tendulkar.
Well, the pressures are there. I mean, all walks of life, I think the pressures are there, and not only for cricketers, but for doctors, for engineers, for scientists, for any sportsman. There are pressures at different levels, and we all have to deal with those pressures. And you learn to, not always master how to deal with that, but you're learning. Mistakes are committed. It really doesn't matter, as long as you know that from the bottom of your heart you've tried your best, and this is the best you could have done. That is all matters to me, and I feel success and failure, it's a big package with success and failure, but giving efforts, I think it's in an individual's hands, and that is what matters to me. If I don't give 100%, I won't be able to sleep well at night. I feel that no, I could have tried harder, and that is something which I avoid. I want to give 100% at night. When I think about the day, even though I failed, I know that I've given my best shot. Then it really doesn't matter, and pressures are always going to be there. You can't run away from pressures of life. You have to deal with them. And when I'm facing the ball, I'm obviously not thinking of what 1 billion people are thinking, whether I should be playing on the front foot or back foot. Eventually I have to surrender myself to my natural instincts, my subconscious mind, which is used to watching the ball and just reacting, and that is what I need to do. If there are a million thoughts in my mind, and then that reaction time, it's obviously going to get disturbed, and I need to keep my mind as blank and empty as possible, so I'm merely reacting to what has been delivered.
Sachin, this is very interesting what you just said. Can you just talk a bit about how Sachin Tendulkar prepares for a game? I mean, when you said, I get my mind blank, because, the viewers, everyone, I mean, as analysts, we would love to know, how do you prepare for a game?
I try to keep my mind blank. It doesn't happen always, but, I think preparation, I would do a bit of visualization. I would look at the strengths and the weakness of the opposition, and try and work around that. And then obviously when I'm batting, not every day you don't think the same way. You know, sometimes your thinking is great. I mean, you're feeling good, your body is moving well. Sometimes you're not, so you got to play accordingly and figure out immediately how this particular surface is going to play and what are the strengths and the weaknesses of the opposition, and start playing accordingly. I look to do that. I try to analyze the conditions as quickly as possible and work around that, because at this level I think all the players are good, but then eventually it also matters how you can outthink your opposition. So you know, it's a bit like playing chess also. You know, you got to know. Sometimes you know that the next ball will be in this area, and it happens when you're thinking right. It happens.
You mentioned this just about doctors, scientists, others, engineers. Everyone has pressure. I'll make an allusion to sports people. I mean, you know, sports people from all time. Jesse Owens in '36 facing Hitler in the Aryan supremacy, the whole theory. You know, after that, Jackie Robinson breaking the color line, and all of these are important landmarks in international sporting history. But someone, and more recent times, Roger Federer had Rafael Nadal to sort of come. But you, 89 to now, everyone, whoever you talk to will say, no, this guy is the best batsman of our generation, the best cricketer of our generation. That is unique. Now, the question is that, you know, across caste, across religion, I've not seen anybody who doesn't like Sachin Tendulkar. That is what makes you unique. I mean, makes you Indian in a sense. You get my point. I mean, that's what gives me this feeling that India matters. Do you think that's the biggest contribution of yours?
Well, I think that is my greatest strength, because everyone likes me and they want me to do well. They wish well for me, they pray for me. So it's my strength. I mean, I've got such a huge support, and when 1 million people are wishing well for you, not many things can go wrong. So that is how I look at it. I know the expectations are there, sometimes way higher than what it should be, but that is only out of affection. That is only because everyone wants me to do well and win matches for India. So that is, I look at it in a positive way.
89, let's go down memory lane a little bit. You started that nose hit, you know, and blood flowing, and the second ball cover drive for a boundary. Just talk a bit about that. 16-year-old facing up to Imran Wasim Waqar. What was it like?
I remember it was the first time my brother Ajit had come to Pakistan to watch me play, and in the second innings we were 34 for 4 down, and I was batting on 2 when I got hit, a bouncer from Waqar, and I remember in that particular test match there were only 2 batsmen who played without the grill. It was Srikanth and me. So one of them got hit, the others, I mean, had a bit more protection, and after that I sort of started wearing the grill. But coming back to that game, we had played wonderfully in that series, and in the second innings when we were 34 for 4, I got hit, and I decided that I'm going to stay, because you know, this is an important phase of the series, and having played so well, you can't just go down like this in the last test match. And I sort of also wanted to show that, you know, it doesn't bother me. I've been hit earlier also, playing in school matches. You know, practice wickets were not that great, because my coach Ramakant Achrekar would make us practice twice a day, and there was no time to water those wickets and, you know, get them prepared to the standards where, you know, it's safe to bat. They were uneven, and then the bounce was uneven. A couple of times I've been hit on my nose. So I said, I've been through this before. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to fight it out and show you what I'm made of.
If I remember right, Navjot Singh Sidhu was batting at the other end when he got hit, and he actually told me that when it hit, I mean, he thought, done, end, you know, and this man now has to be rushed to the hospital. Apparently you put your hand up and you said, "Main khelega." And you know, he said, you know, when he said it, it was surreal, that how can a guy of 16 say, when he's got hit and blood flowing, that "Main khelega." Now that, do you think enduring pain and serving the nation best sums up Sachin Tendulkar?
Well, when you're 16 obviously, in a way it helped because I was 16. I didn't realize what was happening around, and I was still very young. And given this opportunity, I didn't want to, let it slip away just like that without doing much about it. I wanted to prove my ability. I wanted to also convey a very strong message there that I'm not going to back off. And from whatever you hear, when you get hit, either the players are scared of a cricket ball or it makes them tougher. And luckily in my case, I got tougher. And after that, I mean, I've got so many blows on the body, but it's part and parcel of the game. I mean, if you have chosen to play with a seasoned ball, you are going to get hit.
See, this is this joke about you that when people try to rile you up or be aggressive against you and hit you or whatever, and if that kind of aggression, you counter it with a fantastic innings. Now, does that sort of happen? I mean, do you sort of provoke yourself a little bit more, psych yourself up a little bit more?
It happens, yeah. I mean, when somebody is needling you, then obviously, that extra bit helps you to go further in delivering performances.
Why don't you give us an instance? Because this obviously viewers and people who read it don't know. So talk a bit exactly, if you remember one.
It has happened so many times. The guys have said so many things. In fact, the first tour of Australia, there are so many things said. I mean, I remember in Perth when I blocked a ball, and the fielders were not that close, but also at the same time a single wasn't possible. So I went to pick up the ball, and Alan Border was fielding in gully, and he said, "Don't touch that ball." After that, I decided I'm never going to touch the ball. But this is international cricket, and this is the way it's played. So so all these things teach you a lot, but that doesn't mean that you don't pick up the ball and just.
But when you mentioned that 114, you and I have discussed this when last Australia tour. I remember I was waiting, you came up and we talked about the DVD. That remains one of the most amazing hundreds, isn't it? 114, 1992 Australia, hallowed fortress of the Wacker, that track. Talk a bit about that century.
I think that particular tour was important for me because when you do well against Australia, in Australia, the whole world takes notice of you. And I'd gone there in 1991 after having played for almost 20 months or so of international cricket. So I was very confident and I wanted to go there and do something special. In the third test match where the ball was turning a bit, I managed to get 100 there, and in Perth also, where the wicket was quick, bouncy, and I was pretty comfortable on that track. It gave me immense confidence after that because I was able to score runs on two different surfaces altogether, and when you are 17, 18 and you are able to do that, your confidence level just shoots through the roof, and that's what happened to me. I mean, I felt that I'm ready to take on the world. It doesn't matter who is bowling. I will not be overconfident, but I'm confident about my ability. I'm in a position to tackle any bowler in the world.
Just a quick rewind, like that 88. Did you actually cry after you got out for 88, that New Zealand tour, the first 100 when you missed?
Yeah, I'm glad that in those days there were not as many cameras what you see today. Because otherwise you would have captured the tears rolling on my cheek. Because yes, I was terribly disappointed. I hit 2 boundaries in the morning. I was batting 80 overnight and I hit 2 boundaries and then a big drive straight to John Wright. So whenever, the first time I met John after that, when John became our coach, I told him that why did you have to catch that? And you could have dropped that. So no, it was a big disappointment.
And the first 100, I think it was in a 9th test match, right? I mean that England match which you saved with Manoj Prabhakar. Talk a bit about that first 100. After all, it's the first 100.
Yeah, again, we were in a difficult situation. We had lost wickets, and we had to play out some 70 overs or so. And I just played my game, my natural game. I mean, I played shots. Obviously, there was attacking field set. The bowlers tried everything possible. I was not thinking much about anything around happening, but just focusing on the ball. And I said, I'm not going to get out. I'm just going to be here and play my natural game. If I find the ball in the areas where it needs to be put away, I'm going to put the ball away. If I need to leave the ball, I'm going to do that, and just react to what has been bowled. And the thought process was that as simple as that. Nothing more than that. But first 100, and also it kept us alive in the series. Yeah. We were able to draw the game, and it kept us alive in the series. So
now when we think of Sachin Tendulkar as a one-day player, obviously the thought is Sachin Tendulkar as opener, and sort of take the match by the scruff of the neck and win it for us. But that New Zealand game, 47 ball 82, I think we were chasing 140 odd. How did it happen, and why did you decide to open? How did the team management get convinced?
Well, that particular match, I remember in the morning, Sidhu was not fit, and I was the vice captain then. So I told Azhar and Ajit Wadekar, our coach then, that give me just one opportunity. I am very confident in the first 15 overs. I'll go and I'll go over the top, and 30-yard circle, that restriction would definitely allow me to play big shots, and I'm feeling extremely confident. If I fail, I'll never come to you again. Just give me one chance. And Sidhu was also injured, so this was the only opportunity. I said I'll never come again. If I fail, the chapter is closed. And everything went the way I had imagined, I had visualized. It was a fresh experience for me. New ball, and you have to time the ball. You have to also try and be there for some time, because new ball does a little bit more than the old one. I mean, normally I was batting number 4 or number 6 before that, so it was a fresh experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and started connecting the ball well, and then allowed my natural instincts to just take over. It worked well till I was on 82, and after that I said, okay, the fielders are in deep. I'm just going to place the ball in between, because there is nobody, and Vinod Kambli was batting with me, and I told him that I'm going to place the ball here and we will run to, which will put pressure on the opposition. They wouldn't know what to do then. And I top edged the ball, cotton ball of Matthew Hart, and I said I should have continued. And so many guys said, what was the need to do this when you were clearing the ball? I said, yeah, maybe that was a better option.
What adds to the romance of Sachin Tendulkar, the aura, 1999 World Cup, your dad's demise, coming home, then going back and that 140 against Kenya. What goes through a sports person's mind? I mean, we're all human, right? I mean, coming home to a void which none of us can ever fulfill. Talk a bit about that mindset.
Yeah, that was definitely the toughest week of my life, and a difficult phase. I mean, it's something an individual, not only a cricketer, but an individual never wants to experience. And yeah, I mean, my mother, my family, everyone said that you should go back and play now, because this is what your father would have wanted, and you need to go back and play. It was tough. I mean, I know even the morning of match I was wearing glasses because I just could not control my tears, and I was in a different state of mind altogether. I could not honestly think much about the match, because it was difficult to take my mind other than the other than what had happened and think about cricket. But I mean, I had to be in England and do something special. And I managed to get runs against Kenya, and it was, I mean, it was a tough phase. All I can say, it was a tough phase. It's hard to express.
Somebody of our generation who can do that is actually extremely inspiring. But moving on, I mean, I can't sort of not talk 98 and that Sharjah knock. I mean, all of us remember why I watched it on telly. The players were lying flat on the ground. We were chasing that final. We were almost out because the equation had become difficult. What happened? I mean, you just went berserk after that sandstorm.
Yeah, before that, a very funny incident happened which nobody noticed. Well, we were there in the field, and the storm was, it was a new experience for me. I had never seen anything like that, and I thought I'm going to get blown away. So I subtly moved close to Gilchrist. I said, if I'm caught in this, I'll take him with me because extra weight might help. But after that, we went to the dressing room, and started calculating and all those things. And before leaving the dressing room, obviously the mood inside the dressing was that we are going to do it. And we all went out with that grit and determination, and it worked beautifully. That was an innings where wherever I was expecting the ball to be, it was coming that area. Once you start timing the ball well, and wherever you expect the ball is there, you sort of start aligning your body in that position, and even before sometimes the ball is delivered, you know that it's going to be here. I'm going to hit this shot, and all those things happen. It's like a puzzle, jigsaw puzzle, and you get a few things right, and the rest will automatically fall in its place.
You batted like a man possessed in the final as well. I think it was your birthday, 24th.
Yes, yeah, it was my birthday, and there was just 1 day's gap in between. So it was tough on the body, especially when you play in Sharjah. The conditions are pretty tough. And I remember after that 100, I got back home the next day, and it took me about good 2-3 days to recover from that because I was completely drained and feeling weak. So weak that I just didn't feel like doing anything. I rested for 3-4 days after that and didn't do anything at all.
99, that 136 against Pakistan. How difficult was that? That pain. We remember. I mean, you playing that paddle sweep 82 for 5, sort of getting out ricochet, and then with Nayan Mongia. Yep. Very similar to that Hyderabad game. Yep. 126, and then. Yep. How difficult was that? I mean, that innings for me still stands out.
I think that particular match was a big game because that was the first Test match I was playing against Pakistan in India, and I had already completed 10 years of international cricket, so it was a big match, and we were in trouble initially, and there were a couple of partnerships in the middle, and when we got so close to winning, before that. After lunch, I started cramping in my back and also started feeling a lot of pain in my back. And every time when I had to extend myself, the body like that, to drive, it was creating problems for me, and I was aggravating that. And it reached a stage where I just could not stand properly. And I thought, before I have to go off the field, I better finish the game. And I had hit 4 boundaries, and trying to time another one just over the bowler's head, I top edged the ball, which was Dusra, and caught at mid-off. Wasim Akram took the catch. It was a big disappointment, and after that I remember we were all in tears in the dressing room. It was terrible. it was a huge setback. It was tough to go out and accept Man of the Match award. I could not go out, but all I can say is, it sort of the memories were refreshed again when we played against England last year in Chennai, and we were in a similar position. And I told Yuvraj that I've gone through this nightmare. Finish the game and we will go in.
And that
we will not
dedicated to the victims of the Mumbai attack, making it all the more special. Just talk about it.
Yes, I mean it was an extremely unfortunate incident which happened in Mumbai, and to overcome such an incident, I think it's tough, and the more pain is felt by the ones who've lost their dear ones, loved ones. We were hurt, but their pain was something else, and the stories that we got to hear were, I mean, it was tough to digest all that. And when we went there, it was very nice of England cricket team to have come back and played they played couple of test matches, one in Chennai and Mohali. So that gave us a chance to make people divert their minds at least for 5-6 hours somewhere else. And first 3.5 days were tough for us, and then Sehwag played a terrific innings on the 4th day in the evening. He set up that game for us beautifully, and after that with Yuvraj we had that partnership and won the game. It was a terrific feeling, and I felt even for a second, if the Indian cricket team was able to make all the people smile, so that was our achievement. And that's why on behalf of the entire team, I dedicated that match to all the people of India. Packed stadium, we were chasing 274.
Yeah.
So big target, and again in the dressing room, dressing room was pretty quiet and everyone was focusing on the game. And I wore my earphones and I started listening to music. I wanted to be in that zone. And when the umpires walked in and fielders went in, I just removed my earphones and put them in my handbag and started walking in with Viru. So that was I would not hesitate to say that definitely one of the biggest games of my life.
And 18 of that second over, that third man 6, was immortalized on television, immortalized by people in this country who worshipped alongside Lord Shiv on Shivratri Day. That's something extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't planned. The initial planning was obviously to try and see through the first spell, because that is where they will try and get early wickets, and if we don't give them early wickets, then we are in the game. So whatever happened after that, it was just sheer instinct. Both me and Viru, we played some shots, and we were merely reacting to what was bowled, and the instincts took over, and everything clicked beautifully.
When we talk about such games and such situations, would you say one of your biggest disappointments is the 2007 World Cup, or not being successful as you would have expected as a captain?
Well, I think 2007 World Cup, because it was a big tournament. We had a fantastic team, and everything was well set for a big tournament for us. But it came as a big disappointment to all of us. Well, I definitely felt the batting order was not right. I felt that was probably one of the reasons. Though I mean I wouldn't want to go into the details. I don't believe in all that. Whatever happens in the dressing room should stay in the dressing room. But I just felt it could have been slightly different. And just the first match against Bangladesh, I thought that wasn't the way we were expected to play. I can say we tried our best, because nobody wants to go out and fail. We all want to go out and perform well and win matches. But there are days when it just doesn't happen. It was one of those days where it just didn't happen.
Captaincy, regret?
No, I have no regrets that way. I mean, individually I have no regrets at all. Because captaincy again is not about an individual, it's about the team. And I feel it is India who plays a particular match. It is not about individuals. It is about our team. And that's why, I mean, it doesn't, it was painful. I mean, whenever we lose, it's painful. But the World Cup was definitely more disappointing.
2007 World Cup on, suddenly we see another change in Tendulkar and he becomes the best again. I mean, that transformation when we went to Australia, that Sydney 100, that Adelaide 100, the CB Series 100, suddenly you were a man possessed yet again. What happened? Did you get some extra motivation? You started mentoring the side? Something happened, maybe not consciously, but what happened?
I don't know. I mean, before going to West Indies for the World Cup, I had scored 100 in India also. Yes. I became, I think, man of the series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I think I became man of the series before. So it was there, but I don't know. I mean, it just happened. I don't think like that. I always go out thinking that I'm going to score runs and I'm going to win a match for India. I always think like that. So as far as my thought process is concerned, I didn't change anything.
But batting in one-day cricket over the last 2 years, you've been absolutely fantastic. I mean, incredible if you think through your 20 years. I would say the last 2 years have been extra special. Think about it. I mean, but at the same time, playing in Australia, perhaps you're the only guy who, when he steps out, I watched you at Lords, I watched you at Sydney, Australia, West Indies, everywhere. Only player who gets a standing ovation. Incredible, isn't it?
Well, that's what happened on the last Australian tour. Whenever I walked into bat, I got standing ovation, and I was asked by so many guys, how does it feel? I said, I had to say jokingly, maybe they think that it's my last tour. So maybe because of that I'm getting this, but it feels nice, it feels special, and I'll always remember this, because it always made me feel special. And Australians love cricket, they love sport, and when you go there and you do well and it's been appreciated and you get standing ovation, you're walking into bat, I'm humbled by that.
Sachin, I must ask you this. 163 this year in ODI cricket, not out. 175 in that heart-wrenching 3-run defeat in Hyderabad. The body has held up. So can we now say you are playing the 2011 World Cup?
Yeah, touchwood, the body has held up quite nicely. And of course I'll be playing 2011 World Cup.
So that little piece of silverware at the Wankhede held aloft would be the ultimate finale, the romantic climax?
Yeah, by God's grace, we should be able to achieve what we all want to achieve. So, hopefully.
Anything that you would have done differently in the last 20 years for Indian cricket?
As I said earlier in the interview, from effort point of view, I've given 100%. But there are so many matches where I feel, oh, why did I do this? Like the one in Hyderabad. You plan something, but it doesn't happen. I mean,
what did you plan?
I knew that the kind of field setting, it was going to be a slower ball. So I said I will not take any chances by hitting up in the air in the front. I'm just going to guide the ball to short fine leg, and if I beat the short fine leg, it's going to be a boundary. But again, I mean, the ball bounced a little more than I expected, and it hit the bottom of my bat. I tried to guide, hit the bottom and went up. So many things that you want to change now, but they cannot be.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel from effort point of view, I've given 100%. So you know, the other teams are also out there to win. It's not only India who wants to win, and the other teams are happy giving away the game. So you know, it's about competition. As long as it's a fair competition, it's fine.
3 final questions and I'll finish off. This is Saurav's question, not mine. He says that's your best. Agree? Disagree?
I would say maybe, yeah. I mean, I always feel you know, test matches require a more concentration, determination, grit, vision.
His points were, you are 37. If we compare it with Chennai and Sharjah, he said you were 37. You fielded first. You were chasing 350. You batted till 47th over. Now that is inhuman. I texted you. I say I would have, had we won that game, I would have asked you, are you human? But those were his reasons.
Yeah, I'm 36.
36.
So maybe because I'm 36, I was able to do that. Maybe I'm 37. I don't know. I'm just joking, but no. But yeah, it was nice. I felt I was in that zone, and when you are in that zone, then you don't know actually what's happening around you. You just want to watch the ball as closely as possible, and you're constantly planning. If the ball lands in these areas, then I'm going to play there or whatever. I mean, so I felt I was in that zone, and I was planning, and I didn't realize. And when the game had almost, you know, we sort of won the game, I would say, but not won again. So close to it, but yet so far. And
one thing that I've actually enjoyed a lot again, you know, is your mentoring of younger players. That game, many others that I can sort of talk about. What do you tell them? I mean, the way you guide them, it's like a university teacher guiding a PhD student. Sort of Suresh Raina, Ravindra Jadeja to some extent. Or in the dressing room, or in the practice sessions. You know, there's so much money, commercialism. There is obvious distractions, right, with the IPL, post-IPL, etc. What do you tell them? How do they maintain their head?
I think it's just about progress. I mean, if you see 10 years ago, there was not as much money. Now there is more money. But it's not about money, because when I picked up a cricket bat, I didn't think that I was going to make millions because of picking up a cricket bat. It was because of love for the game, passion for the game. And I wanted to play for India. That was the ultimate dream for me. I will not give even 0.1% away if somebody says, okay, would you compromise that much if we paid you this? I will. That's my life. Cricket is my life, and I'm sure all the guys in the team, they feel the same, because as a 5-6 year old, you barely understand anything, and you pick up a cricket bat or a cricket ball only because you love doing that. And then whatever happens after that, it's just about progress. So I feel getting distracted and not being distracted, whatever, I mean, it's up to an individual. I feel if my focus is on the game and I understand the priorities in life, I don't think any individual can get distracted like that. It's as simple as that. I would worry about how to score more runs than how to make more money.
20 years and still counting, how would you want to be remembered? Obviously as the greatest ever, as far as I know, who's played the game for India and perhaps the world, because I keep comparing with Sir Donald. But at that point in time, the number of test matches, gaps, and with you, T20, ODIs, the cramped calendar, you would have played 50 years had you been born at that time. So obviously, let's not even talk about that. That's a cliche that you're the greatest cricketer to have played for India. But how do you want to be remembered in the pantheon of Indian sporting history, for that matter, world sporting history?
Somebody who played for the team, and somebody who was true, sincere and honest as a member of the team. And what can I say? I mean, it's tough. I think I don't know. I mean, I can't think of anything. I just feel I've given it all. Whatever I felt or whatever I thought of, I've always expressed myself in the team meetings and the dressing rooms, and I've shared my ideas. And somebody who always wanted to be a good team man, and obviously the whatever I've been able to achieve as an individual, it's just I think the reflection of my contribution to Indian cricket. I was always part of the team.
See, this is the humility that I keep talking to you about. This is what makes you what you are. You know, my favorite icon, India's favorite son, and I think for 1 billion plus, their favorite romance. Thank you very, very much for talking to me.
Thank you very much,
Sachin.